Paul, we come to you next. Thanks for joining us today from Dubai. We're all very jealous of the sunshine. You have a long career in hospitality and are passionate about the elimination of single-use plastic as well, and as well as safe water practices. So again, could you just begin with giving us a little bit of background about you and then tell us more about Infinity Water?
Yeah, well, it's great to be here and on World Water Day. Ironically, in Dubai, we have not had one drop of rain for the entire year so far. And normally you get rain for February, March. You know, it rains a few times at least. So unfortunately, it's looking like an extremely dry year for us here. So, you know, just a bit of reflection on that, I guess. For me personally, I'm from Australia originally, and I've been traveling the world for 20 years. I was a chef at some of the best hotels in the world and managed a few hotels that were also equally as good. And my most recent assignment was opening the Crown Plaza Muscat OCEC in Oman. Beautiful hotel. It was there for a year pre-opening and then 3 years post-opening. And I've just taken up a role 3-4 months ago as Director of Infinity Waters, based on the work and the activism I've been doing for elimination of single-use plastics.
Thank you, Paul. That's absolutely fantastic. And I know you wanted to talk to us today a little bit more in detail about Infinity Waters as well. I'd love to know more. If you can just tell us how this has come about and how it's implemented in hospitality settings.
Yeah, I think I'd like to talk more about sort of the elimination of single-use plastics. Okay. And if you look at, you know, it started with water. So I was at the beach in Kota Kinabalu in Malaysia, in a place where no man had been there or was on this beach for weeks. And behind the beach was a massive lagoon, and the lagoon was 3 feet deep with plastic bottles. This was 10 years ago. And it was that moment that I decided that we need to do more. I then traveled to Egypt, and I lived in Egypt 10 years ago, and I was traveling along the Nile, or not along the Nile, sorry. I was next to the pyramids. There's a small canal right next to the pyramids, and you couldn't see the water. It was just full of plastic pollution. And one of the most beautiful, iconic spots in the world. So that for me was revealing and shocking. And I always thought, what more can I do as a human, as a leader, as a family man? What more can I do to make a difference with these plastics? Because I felt no one was talking about it. Nobody was talking about this subject. You know, everywhere you went, people would say, oh yeah, the beaches are really bad, or oh, that's really a shame. But nobody was talking about it. So I went back to the hotel and thought, okay, what can we do? So I started step by step. And the first thing I started with, funny enough, was the new plastic egg trays. We were using 20,000 egg trays a year. I brought the supplier in, and I asked the supplier very kindly and very politely if he could go back to using cardboard, and can we have a circular model? Meaning, can I send the cardboard back daily, so I don't use any waste, actually. So we put a system in place, and that worked. And then we just did step by step through the hotel on different products. You know, and sometimes you've just got to make tough decisions. You've got to challenge the status quo. You know, I've got 5 steps for this. One is leadership. So leadership has to own this. It doesn't matter what business in the world you're in. If you're in a business for hotels, restaurants, if you're in a business for anything, lead. Someone has to lead this. Somebody has to own this problem. Next thing is to set up a team. So you set up a team within your organization, and you look at exactly what you're doing on every level and how you can make a difference. I'll give you an example. I walked into my laundry, and every single piece of laundry was covered with a plastic sleeve. I'm sure you've all been to hotels. I'm sure some of you work in hotels and you've seen this. I walked in and said, right, no more plastic sleeves. That was the easiest decision ever on getting rid of plastic. We use 40,000 plastic sleeves a year for our laundry. Not one guest complaint, not one comment to say anything bad. So So first thing is leadership. Second thing is setting up a team. Third thing is to meet with the team and discuss alternatives. Look at what you're buying in. Look at your packaging. How can you reuse? Think of the old milkman system. And that's exactly what I did next. I approached the milk and asked the milk company for a circular system for our milk in the hotel. Nobody had ever approached them for this. Nobody had ever talked about this. So next thing, we had a circular system for milk. And along with that went yogurt. So yeah, and then get your suppliers involved. Step 4 is getting your suppliers involved. What I always told my suppliers was, the waste is not my waste. The waste is their waste. I'm ordering eggs. I'm not ordering egg trays. I'm ordering bread. I'm not ordering plastic bags that bread come in. So please come up with a circular solution. And I was giving them their garbage back. So I'd keep their garbage for them. And I would say, here's your garbage. You do with it what you need to do. And I tell you what, once you do this, you will find that every single supplier starts to change the way they do business. And it wasn't just for my hotel, it was for every hotel. I can use a few examples of different things that we also implemented. The wooden room key. Is it better? Is it worse? So I looked at the entire system of the plastic room key. I found online, very difficult to find, I found the wooden room key from our supplier, Assa Abloy, massive global player. And got them engraved. And then at the front desk, put a little note to say, please insisting on returning your room key. Well, plastic ones are just thrown in the bin. They're destroyed. They go into garbage. You don't think of it again. The wooden ones are expensive. So therefore, I wanted the guests to return them. So that's what we did. And look, sometimes it's a bit more expensive, the journey, but you've just got to work out ways that save you money. No, had any waste of room keys, no lending money on room keys because they were being returned. So, and the other platform that I was using for this was LinkedIn. And for example, I put the room key story on LinkedIn and it was 75,000 views. I don't know how many shares, how many comments. Every single thing that we did, I did a story online to share with people the journey, to talk about how we can change the way we do business. The most difficult one in the hotel, without a doubt, was the wet room amenities. So shampoo, conditioner, body lotion. Everyone's talking about bulk packaging. It's no different. It's just as big a waste. Whether you use 10 small bottles or one big bottle, what's the difference? So what I was trying to do was get a fully circular system. And circular system means bring it in the container. I will give you the container back. You wash it, you refill it. Bring me back the container. So again, there's no waste. So, and then the same model for water, exactly the same model. So we put this fantastic system into our hotel from Infinity Water Systems. And, we're never using another plastic bottle ever again. It's a great solution. 250,000 bottles of a year of plastic water we were using. The Intercontinental Hotel next to us is using 500,000 bottles. We put the system in this hotel as well. And until this day, for the rest of their lives, they will not need to use plastic water bottles again. So that's basically, I guess, in the nutshell, the journey on single use. For me, it's reuse.
Yeah, I mean, it must have been incredible, actually, Paul, to be at the beginning of this new way of thinking, because it sounds to me like you had what everybody's talking about now. You had in place decades ago, and that's an incredible thought to have had. And the changes you've made have been very impactful, as you can see by the numbers you've given us in terms of saving on single-use plastics and things. You've mentioned quite a few there, but what are some of the high impact single-use plastics that people often overlook?
Well, an interesting one was fruit and vegetables, actually, the suppliers for perishables. So I bought the supplier of fruit and vegetables in every day, every poor guy. I mean, I was running the hotel and I took the time to go down to the loading bay every day until they got it right and said, right, I don't want this plastic. It's all going back with you. The punnets, the strawberries came in, the punnets, the cherry tomatoes came in, everything, the bags, the grapes were coming in, everything's gone to plastic. you know, eggs, the list goes on. So I was just collecting it, talking to them, and next thing they were giving me solutions. They were taking the mushroom punnets back and reusing them. They were taking the cherry tomato punnets back and reusing them. The grapes were coming in material bags. They weren't coming in plastic bags anymore. And the list goes on. So that for me was probably the most high impact. And, you know, again, you looked at the laundry covers and, you know, anything related to food and beverage was pretty big. Room amenities as well. Yeah, so it's kind of endless when you look at it. You know, even coffee cups, the coffee tops. We were the first in the world to use the compostable paper coffee tops. And not only that, but we were telling guests, would you like a lid? I mean, if I go to a coffee shop today, they still automatically put a lid on my coffee. If I was to get a single use, there's no way I would ever get a single use coffee, number one. But number two, why do they not ask customers, would you like it? Do you need a lid? Do you really need a lid? Maybe you're driving a car and you need one, but we all need to change the way that we act, the way that we work, the way that we live. We have to. It's imperative. You know, I look at small things even around my home. I've changed soaps, deodorants, shaving creams, everything to be zero waste. Zero waste. If I can do it in Dubai, I'm sure anybody else around the planet can do this.
I'm sure they can. And thank you so much for sharing your passion.